Welcome back. I hope everybody's had a good week, and thank you for following these events. And so today I would like to do something very briefly, which is a very simple meditation practice. And this meditation practice is for a very simple but very important purpose, and that is to cultivate awareness of our biological unity, and through that awareness to cultivate an immediate sense of gratitude. So this is how we do it. It's very simple. We take a slow, deep inhalation, and then we exhale. And we keep exhaling, and exhaling, and exhaling. And don't inhale. And see how long you can hold the breath out. And then inhale. So, this is all that we have to do to be aware of how dependent we are on the elements that give us life. So it's something that we can do instantly, anytime during the day. We're doing it all the time, actually. And so what I'm talking about is not conceptual gratitude or a seasonal kind of gratitude or gratefulness. It's biological. It's recognizing our complete biological dependency on the forces around us that keep us alive. And if we can feel that physically, then it changes everything in our consciousness, and it changes everything in our awareness, and it changes all of our priorities in our personal life, and it changes all of our social priorities as well. And that's where things are going, whether we like it or not. Okay, now we would like to move in that direction consciously, deliberately, as a cultural spiritual evolution, but it's also going to be forced upon us to accelerate the process, we could say. So again, it's very simple for those of you who are joining. We take a deep breath, and then we exhale, and we don't inhale. And we just feel the body sensations of lack of oxygen. And then we inhale. So right away, the body sensations of lack of oxygen are pointing to the fact that we are completely inseparable biologically from the sources of oxygen in the planet. And that gives us a deep appreciation of plants specifically, because we are breathing together with the plants. And so this is a kind of reciprocity biologically that's always going on. Now the plants do not depend on us. We depend on them. And that is the big spiritual awakening of our time, and where all of this collectively is going. That all the things that we think are important are ultimately not that important if the elemental basis of life is not functional. Okay. Now, if we're doing that simple breathing exercise, and we're feeling what it feels like to not have sufficient oxygen, then it will awaken the sense of gratitude instantly. It's like the body is grateful, okay? And that's what's important about these kinds of meditative practices that develop awareness of biological unity is we need to be aware of this unity and what it means for our life at a physical level. It's not a cultural celebration. It's not a seasonal cultural celebration. It is a biological necessity, okay, that we have certain elements around us all the time. And if we feel what it feels like to not be able to get sufficient airflow, what does that tell us? It tells us, first of all, about our relationship with the plants. And since the plants are one of the primary sources of oxygen for us, it will immediately help us to say thank you to the plants for giving us that life. Okay, so our life is dependent on the plant world. But it's got many other dimensions other than that. One of the things that my teacher, Dr. Gawang Chokpo, my teacher of Tibetan medicine, told me, he said, the next world is only one breath away. And that's what he was referring to. We start life with an inhalation, and we end life with an exhalation. And so if that exhalation doesn't go to the next inhalation, then that's it. And that is the story of our life individually, and that is the story of our life collectively as well. So with that particular meditation of simply holding the breath out and feeling what it feels like to not have enough air, that can always instantly awaken a sense of deep gratitude for the plants around us that are actually giving us that oxygen, because the next world is one breath away if we don't get that oxygen. But it develops other things as well. It's not just gratitude for the plants and for the biosphere, the intelligence, the balance, the sensitivity, the abundance, the love and compassion of the biosphere that's keeping us alive that we can feel. It's also something that immediately makes us aware of other beings, okay? Not just the plants. It makes us aware of the plants as other beings, but it makes us aware of other human beings and animals as well, because this air element that we are inhaling, every time we take an inhalation, we are partaking of something that is an elemental field. And that field comes in and it moves around and then it goes back out. And as long as we're connected to that elemental field of prana, life force, as long as we continue to be biologically connected to it, we're still here, we're still alive. And everything that is breathing is connected elementally through the air element. So when we are inhaling, everybody else in the world is inhaling along with us. And as we are exhaling, everyone else in the world is exhaling. And if we do that meditation where we exhale and we don't breathe back in, then we start to feel the connectedness, the commonality, the universality of what it feels like when people have to suffer through respiratory conditions, okay? And so there are millions and millions of people that came to the end of their life in this pandemic, and that's exactly what they felt. They were aware that the connection to this universal element of air was being broken, and they couldn't partake of it anymore. They couldn't reciprocate with this inhalation and exhalation, you see. And it made everybody acutely aware of this dependency on the air element, which is our dependency on the plants, okay, and our dependency on this life force that we are always inhaling. So what that does is it takes us to the next level of what does this practice actually cultivate? It cultivates compassion, okay? Because compassion is being able to understand and feel the similar things that we are going through in others. And so if we are contemplating this lack of oxygen in our body, we're actually feeling biological gratitude to be able to breathe, then what that does is it instantly develops compassion for all the other people in the world who are having asthma, or who are going through COVID, or who are on a ventilator, or any of the other kinds of illnesses that affect the respiratory system. And what this practice does is it makes us physically aware of our connectedness to other beings, our commonality to other beings. And this immediately deconstructs all of the nonsense of the ego about I am this nationality and this race and this gender and this ethnic background, and it puts us immediately in contact with our biological connectedness to all beings, and especially all humans. And this is what the big evolutionary spiritual opportunity is for us right now in facing the breakdown of the biosphere. And that is to recognize that everybody biologically needs to breathe and needs to drink water and needs to eat food. And even though humans are at the top of the food chain, and even though humans have the most sophisticated neurological system on the face of the earth, we are also highly, highly vulnerable and totally dependent on everything that keeps us alive. So again, let's just do this to remember something very profound and cultivate instant biological gratitude. And that is, we inhale and we can say thank you just to be able to breathe. And we exhale. Keep exhaling. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Don't inhale. See how long you can do it. Keep going. Push it out more. That's how dependent we are on the things that keep us alive. And that's my simple message for everybody today, that we don't have to go very far to feel deep, profound gratitude and connectedness with all beings. So thank you for joining me. I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week.
Recording stop.